Are you thinking about buying or selling a home or a real estate professional and want to keep up with what's happening in the Twin Cities real estate market with news, stats, and trends? Then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. We're going to make a second attempt at talking about home affordability. We had you in a few weeks ago, Amanda, and recorded with no sound. So, yeah, get to
it's probably good because I feel like now I get to say everything I've thought of for the last 3 weeks.
Yes. Take all those notes. And then we also now get to have Jilly, who couldn't make it to the last show. So, yeah, looking forward to that. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about home affordability in today's new market. And that's the kind of the key word there is things are changing out there, which is changing affordability, bringing up a lot of questions. Before we get to the main topic, though, I want to kind of just dive in to some of the latest news, stats, and kind of trends happening around the Twin Cities, starting off with new listings. So we're seeing that continue to rise. Even though it is down over last year, we're starting to see some positive changes. I know we're going to get to that in a second, but we saw listings for the week of May 7th, 1858 up to 1875, and I've seen the early numbers for the most recent week, and it looks like that's going to continue to go up, which is not much of a surprise, right? We saw a big jump about 4 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. Well, what happened then? Oh, wait, it warmed up, right?
Yeah.
And so things were kind of tracking behind because a lot of sellers who had stuff to do in their yard and didn't want to get their property ready, or I shouldn't say didn't want to, but wanted to get their property ready on the exterior. They just didn't have the opportunity because it would just snow and rain. And
Minnesota
cold.
market is so incredibly pushed by our weather.
Yeah. Well, what's funny as we talk about it, though, is if you wait until it's green, you're going to miss out on some green. A lot of people don't realize by that waiting actually can cost money, and we see that in how the market slows down.
You've got to get your exterior painting done in the fall.
Yes.
Because the spring will hold you back from having to do all that.
Absolutely. And yard pickup and things like that as well.
We saw a yard this morning that we stopped by for a house that Amanda's showing, and they're doing no mow May right now.
Yes.
I don't think they really are.
Maybe don't do that if you're listing the property. I respect the no mow May, but
I do up until the point that my kids are stepping on the prickly ones.
Yeah.
And my wife told me no mow May, and I'm like, they're getting poked. I'm gonna go
Ma
mow those.
just disappears into our backyard at this point. You can't see her anymore.
We're trying to make it. We've got a week left.
I'm gonna do it today.
So pending sales is a big driver though here, right?
Yep, pending sales is down right now. So for May 14th, the week of, we're actually down over 19%.
Yeah, I mean that's a big drop.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So driving that, we were talking about this earlier. Interest rates are up.
Yep.
Pending sales, that is kind of the normal trend.
It's bringing buyers out and home affordability as well. So I mean, yes, interest rates, but just a cost of house, I should say.
The inflation is part of the affordability too.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll touch base on that later.
Yes, absolutely.
But the pending sales are down. Kind of odd juxtaposition with you, Amanda, with inventory, but it makes sense.
Right. So as we see more listings coming on in this current inventory, we're almost tracking with last year, finally.
Really close. I mean, we were down by 25% going back into December. And that gap has been closing and closing and closing as rates have been rising and rising and rising.
And at some point, it looks like maybe our graphs are going to even out. Our charts are going to look like
the lines are going to cross.
There's going to be some
we'll have more inventory than we did last year.
And that's something we haven't seen for years. It's been this consistent, and it makes sense, right? So you look back at the 2008, 2012 housing market, and 36,000 listings on the market. So we've been dropping.
And what do we have right now?
6,152.
So 30,000 less houses on the market right now than we did in that 2012 market.
Right. And we're going to talk about this, right? Which the question is, are we in another housing bubble? And why is that? And this is a key driver in that is inventory.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the fact that the pending sales are going down, inventory is going up, that means houses are going to sit on the market longer.
Yep.
Right?
Buyers might have a choice.
Buyers might not have to give up their firstborn.
Well, and there's a difference between a stable market, a seller's market, and a buyer's market, right? And we have been in this. I mean, if you look at the last 12 months on my market meter, we touched stable market for
like a
1
second.
week.
Yeah.
1 week this last year. And normally we go up into the seller's market, down into the stable, down into the buyers, back up into the stable, back up into the sellers, right? So we've spent almost 2 years where we've been in extreme and seller's market most of the time. In the last 12 months, again, only stable for 1 week, and then it was back into sellers. So, what are the long-term trends on this? Well, showings per week per listing average, it's starting to level out a little bit. We've been drop. We were up at a 10.41 average for 250 to 500K price range. That's what somebody could experience as an average number of showings on their house. We're down to 6.07. Last week was, or previous week before that, 6.04. So we're starting to maybe level out.
And that's the average of what you're going to get if you list your house for showings a week, is what you're saying, correct?
Right. So,
that price
and
point.
now, is that what a typical buyer and seller experiences?
No.
Because, somebody prices too high, it sits. They don't get much for any activity. Somebody who prices, lower, very competitive, they're going to see a lot higher. And you're going to have
different
some
neighborhoods
right?
change that showing activity.
Well, and that's something I talk about when listing a home is you want to make sure you're looking specifically at what's happening in your exact market.
And
for
some neighborhoods, it's block by block.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in the short term, we're seeing this showings per listing starting to, level itself off. And I think we're going to probably get into this pace of declining, but declining a lot slower as buyers are going, taking a breath and go, hey, I can actually think about things for a second. And they're putting themselves back into the marketplace after being withdrawn for a while.
I told a client yesterday she could sleep on it. And she was shocked.
We're going to counter, me and a client are going to counter an offer to
For a
probably
buyer.
today.
Yeah, I
for
would
a
love
buyer.
to see this.
It's going to happen, you guys.
So all of this, putting our market meter is going, we've been at 10, 10, 10. Anybody who watches the show, that's where we've been, extreme seller's market. 2 weeks ago, we were at a 9.95. So we went 17 weeks running. The difference, though, is last year we went 21 weeks running at a 10. So we just went down below that 10 in a shorter period of time. And again, I think this is where we're going to see that inventory surpass last year's. And so this is going to have effects for both buyers and sellers out there.
I feel like buyers and sellers' heads are kind of spinning right now.
A little bit.
They're going to catch their breath and...
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to get into affordability, some of the things that one can counter to try to find something. If you have any questions for us, check us out at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com or give a call 651-303-0019. We'll be right back. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrad and Chad Preby with Bell Bank Mortgage, Structure Tech Home Inspections, James Tufson with Country Financial, along with Cregan's Construction and Grey Duck Staging and Design.
Hi, I'm Ruben with Structure Tech Home Inspections. Everyone knows you should have a home inspection before you buy a home, but we've heard of home buyers being encouraged to skip the home inspection in this crazy market to make their purchase offer more attractive. Now they're facing tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected repairs. I'm telling you now, don't skip the home inspection. Here at Structure Tech, we can get your home inspected quickly, and we offer a full line of services. Visit us online at structuretech.com to learn more.
Don't fall for the billboards or the clickbait. There is no such thing as today's rate. Mortgages and mortgage rates are individual to you. Chad Preby and Eric Bloomstrand with Bell Bank Mortgage are here to show you the formula to get your best rate. Once you know this formula, you can mortgage shop with confidence. Find us online at chadpreby.com. That is chadpreby.com. NMLS 1462493, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall with BRIX Real Estate and the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest financial transactions people make. Before you make your next move, download our free Smart Home Buyer or Smart Seller guides to give you the edge in our real estate market. From deal hunting to knowing the right repairs for maximizing value, these free guides have it all. Check them out and more at BRIXTwinCities.com under publications. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Today, talking about home affordability here in the Twin Cities. And we hit a number on the affordability index, which basically looks at all sorts of factors: cost of living, interest rates, price of homes, all of that kind of rolled into one. And we hit a spot we haven't been for 20 plus years. And so we have Jilly Jenkins joining us today talking about home affordability. And then Amanda Winter coming in for the second time to do this show, as mentioned, since the audio problems the first time around. But yeah, this has been a big thing. I know you guys have mentioned in some of our meetings about, clients' frustrations with rates and affordability. And we now hit this point on the affordability index of a 102. Right, and that is down from almost a 200. So what does this mean? What does this number mean? Well, a 100 means a median income earner can buy the median price home, basically, is how it works out. So we're at this point at a 102 of that, like, it goes any lower as far as the affordability, the median earner can't buy the median price house. Now, I mentioned that was as high as a 200, right? So when was that? Well, like 2012.
Yeah.
Right? And where somebody who could make, somewhere in the half the median income could still go out and buy the median sale price home. If that statement is wrong, I know my brother will correct me on that, because that's his specialty. He loves talking about the affordability index. But the home prices have been rising pretty fast here the last 2 years for sure.
I'd like to say exponentially skyrocketing. That's how I explain it to my clients.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And of course, this raises questions about, are we in a bubble? Well, if we look back, and I think a lot of this is looking at history to try to figure things out, right? And if we look back, going back to the 1950s, we really didn't see home prices over any long period of time. Basically, the way I like to put it is in between the Great Depression and the Great Recession, we have not seen a period of time where home prices on the 12-month rolling trend have dropped, right? And I think that's a key understanding first off, because I do have a feeling there's going to be articles and news organizations that are going to look at our market this late summer and late fall and drive fear that our market is going down drastically and is crashing. But
well,
I mean,
it's like a shell shock.
Yeah.
It's a shell shock. I mean, I've been licensed only on the uptick.
Right.
So the past decade that I've been licensed has only been going up, right? And so that has been what has set the tone for everybody that really has been capable of buying and selling. It's been going up, but the past several years has been such an exponential growth. that any slowing down of that, people are scared. Like the market's going to crash because it's not skyrocketing anymore. It's like, no, there's a stabilization that needs to come in. It's not sustainable what we've been doing for the past several years.
People get priced out.
Well, I
It's
know
just not sustainable.
You and I, Jilly, we got in the conversation, and one of the graphs that I put together for our last meeting was this, right? We look at everything leading up to 2008, 2012. We're kind of clipping along, moving up in home prices. Slows down a little bit from the 90s up to about 2012, which is kind of an interesting point, right? The markets in the 80s was actually, the house prices were increasing real quick, right? And then it actually slows up in the 90s and then starts to pick back up in about 2003, 2004. It starts picking up real fast. Well, all that did was catch us back up to where we should have been had we been pacing at the same pace.
The average rate,
right?
yeah.
And so where are we now? Well, we've had these slow prices, after the drop that we're kind of moving up. And then
by the drop, you mean 08.
Yeah, 08, 2012, kind of the up, down there.
Yep.
And then we've been basically playing catch up. And this most recent spike gets us caught back up. We were at 36,000 listings, as we were talking about previously, in our market when it crashed. We're now at 6,000 listings.
Yeah,
right?
so like the inventory, I think, will kind of continue to drive prices being stable and not crashing. Everyone's using that word crash. I mean, I wish we all had a crystal ball to look into and tell our clients when is the best strategic moves and the best times. But the reality is if you're in rental, get out of rental.
Yeah.
Start building your own wealth. If you're happy with the home you're in right now and you don't need to do anything, then talk with your partner, talk with your family, decide what's best for you. Real estate's a long game.
Yep.
If you are in it to try to make money in and out, yep, you might lose money as an investor. It's just we're coming into a stabilization period.
Yeah.
It's needed. It's nothing to be scared about.
Yeah, and
I'm so excited to have some stabilization.
Yeah. Well, the other issue is that you're paying rent someplace anyway, and it's not like rent is so much more affordable than a mortgage right now.
No.
Well, I mean, actually, the way I like to put it is you're paying a mortgage. You're paying a mortgage.
You're also paying for repairs.
Right. You're paying the mortgage for your landlord. That's whose mortgage you're paying.
Right.
You're paying rent.
Absolutely. So go pay your own.
Start building your own wealth.
Yeah.
Well, and interest rates, this is something that we've seen many times before. Just type in prime rate history going back to 75-year history. We've been at rates drastically higher, and not just more than once. I mean, rates fluctuate between 5 and 10%. That's the normal, is they kind of move up and down between those points. So a rate in the 5s is really not something to be too scared of.
I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong in this, Kirk, but realistically, we had our interest rates tank out and get that low to try to keep us from a horrible recession.
Yeah.
Like COVID kind of turned the table on our economy big time.
Yeah.
And so in order for them to, by them, I mean, I guess the government, to keep it going, to keep it churning, to not have us bottom out again, those interest rates really kept us from bottoming out. Yeah. And we're not at that point anymore. Like it's not realistic to stick with those low interest rates either. Now we're kind of seeing the other hand of, it being so inflated.
Yeah, and kind of looking back at the history, I know my parents for sure went through rates a lot higher than where we are right now. I know my parents also went through, home affordability that was in a lot worse position. The home affordability index back in the 80s was at one point at a 60.
Yeah. Low.
So, a lot of this is well, what's the line?
Lowered expectations.
Right. That the buyer that was in the market, sorry to say, last year, maybe beginning of this year, you were in a market that was being kind of propped up by these low rates. If you were in the market 3 years ago, you would be looking at something very different. And I think it's going back to that first house, right? Just like I like to talk about, when we bought our first cars, I didn't buy the car that I have now. I didn't buy what I need for my business and hauling around kids and all of that. I bought what I could afford back in high school. I think it was like $900 car that got me to school and back and going.
What was your first car?
It was a 1974 Ford F350.
Oh, wow. That's actually nicer than
Same
mine.
car now.
No, I have a 2016
Dodge
Dodge
now?
Ram.
Dodge,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But, well, the F350, though, it was the camper special. It was it was only a two-seater.
Oh.
Cool. That must have been a fun truck to drive, though, from the 70s.
It was.
And a
It was.
350?
It was always backfiring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super fun.
But I agree with you where, your first house isn't maybe going to be I'm going to grow into this house. It's your stepping stone.
Absolutely a stepping stone. And I think when you look at the house itself, you go, okay, this is a toad covered in warts, but I'm going to kiss it and I'm going to make this bathroom work.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like your first house bathroom might not even have a vanity. It might just be a sink with no place to put your soap.
Right.
That's kind of
Well, and
you have to be
sometimes.
you have to be resourceful with your first home.
yeah.
Absolutely. And you need to be, you're not in that market for a lot of people now of, going out to the suburbs and getting the 3-bed, 2-bath with the walk-in closet and the 2-car garage, right? This needs to be that little bit older house. And, especially if you're looking at single family or, if you're not at the point where you can afford the single family, I always say, hey, if you're renting it, you should be willing to buy it. If you're renting a 1-bedroom apartment, go buy a 1-bedroom condo.
Yeah.
Instead of living there for another 3 to 5 years.
I
because at
love
least-
that.
Yeah.
I want to have that conversation with every single one of my friends who rents.
Yeah.
I know like my sister-in-law, right? Been in the same place. Now I will give her a little bit of a break because her rent is so cheap. But even then, she could have had it paid off by now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Had she bought 15 years ago when, I first met her. So, staying and renting, you are paying somebody's mortgage.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
My name is James Tobson with Country Financial. Anyone can sell you insurance. However, is it going to be the insurance you need? When life pops up with its surprises, you want the right coverage. When it comes time to find or renew your policy, give me a call. I would love to review your existing policy and show you what I can do for you. You can email me at james.tobson@countryfinancial.com or give me a call at 651-365-3408.
Hi, I'm Becca, owner of Grey Duck Staging. With today's home buyers beginning their journey exclusively online, the look and feel of your home matters more than ever. Whether it's a simple in-home consultation, a refresh using your current furniture, or a whole home staging, our goal is always the same: showing your home in the best light and helping you achieve the highest sales price possible. To learn more, visit us at greyduckstaging.com or check us out on Instagram at greyduckstaging.
Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Today we've been talking about home affordability in the Twin Cities. And Jilly, you were mentioning the seasonable, nice, yes,
the
seasonal
season bubble.
yes.
We
The seasonal
yeah.
bubble.
Everyone's talking about, is there a bubble? Is there a bubble? Well, we have bubbles numerous times every year.
Every year.
And then with COVID, we had separate micro bubbles for that. There's always bubbles. And right now, trending historically, we're going to get a little bit more inventory. It's going to be a little bit like the bubble is passing essentially. It's hopefully
Right. We're
going
gonna
to
we're gonna go
easier.
into the summer market and fall market, which is definitely slower and better for buyers than the spring market,
Yep.
the March April market. We know that we've gone from that high showings per listing. Now we're down to a more average rate.
A little less competition for buyers.
Yep.
Hopefully a little bit easier to get into a home coming up with the normal historical seasonal bubbles.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important to mention on the backside of that bubble is that we still aren't building affordable homes. So demand for homes will continue to increase.
Yep.
Yep.
And we've outstripped supply. So
There is no new construction that is affordable housing.
No.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean,
No.
we did just hit an interesting point for a little while there where new construction was actually pacing at the same prices, very similar to existing. But you know, that again, those are not the median sale price homes
Right.
that was at. But we are going to, as we see that inventory increase, that home affordability index, that will come off of that 102. I'm assuming that's going to get closer to maybe the 125 by later this summer. You know, so again, beware of what you're hearing on the news, seeing as far as posts. Oh my gosh, home prices are going down. Home sales are slowing down. Well, they do that every year.
Yeah.
At this time,
I have
every year.
I have clients that I say, if like there's specific finances, like you're someone that should be buying in the winter. Let's hit it in the winter.
Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely do some bargain hunting as that buyers are out of the market and,
Late fall.
and inventory is higher. Well, if you have any questions for us, check us out, TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. If you need any help buying or selling, help with that too. 651-303-0019. Like to thank Jilly, Jenkins, and Amanda Winter for coming in.
Thank
both of you
you.
today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Have a great week and see you again next week. People always ask realtors, what is your commission? But what they should be asking is, what is your rate of return? Commissions only vary by a couple of % from agent to agent. However, the price per square foot you get just based on their experience and the quality of marketing they use can vary by 10% or more. At BRIX Real Estate, our agents use the right marketing and have the experience to get you top dollar for your house. See what we can do for you at BRIXTwinCities.com.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, and our free publications to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.